Midnight Ramen is a minimally edited, live recorded podcast that takes place at midnight. Although Michael may not be consuming food, it's time to get your bowls out. It's chow time.
But welcome back to you. Freak stride, sailing me. Free falling, choose my enemy. Free from the things you say. It will all come back someday.
Good evening or good morning, depending on where you are. It is midnight here, so yeah. Hi guys, my name is Michael. You are listening to Midnight Ramen, the livecast. I'll get into what is this show in a bit, but first I'm just making sure that all my stuff is ready to go, making sure, because like this is the first time I'm doing it this live, like in front of a camera. But yeah, I'm recording this right now, and it's kind of scary because I'm going in. But first, I have no idea what I'm doing, and this is typical. This is typical. So, Midnight Ramen as a show, or this thing, it's a live recorded podcast. I'm going to try to upload it eventually. Hope upload it soon to other sites like Spotify and YouTube and that sort of thing, whenever I can get it done. I'm not going to do a whole lot of editing to it, solely because, yeah, unless if like, and this is a very big hypothetical, so, hypothetical speaking, if I did get sponsored or ad stuff, I would have to do that afterwards, cut that in, and all that stuff. Recording that is different, separate. I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, but, knock on wood, all that kind of crap. But yeah, so Midnight Ramen as a to give it reason as to why this show is called this, Midnight Ramen, it goes back to my college days. I graduated college like a year and a half ago. Jesus, I'm old. I graduated college about a year and a half ago, and when I was in college, specifically my junior and senior year, I did this as a radio show, but that's not where it I can get into that in a bit later, but how it really began was that during my sophomore year in college, when I was living in the dorms, one tradition that I would usually do, whether it was like I was doing laundry or just up at night for whatever reason, gaming, at whenever midnight hit, whenever that was, if I was watching TV, didn't matter. At midnight, I would go down into like the basement where there was like an actual running water, get a bowl of ramen, get the water in there, because you gotta do with water. But like I would make ramen in the microwave and just do it, and I would have, as the name implies, Midnight Ramen, and I just did it so much that I was like, hey, when I was going to do my radio show, I might as well, fuck me, I might as well just do at midnight, because that would be funny as hell. It threw me through a ringer a lot of the time, but what Midnight Ramen was as a radio show, it was a variety show. I just talked about random topics here and there. There were typically themes and stuff around that, so I can get into stuff later about that, but like sometimes the music would be based around that. Like if it was like, oh, Valentine's Day, I would be doing like, oh, like love songs, or if it was like the end of the semester, I'd be doing like, oh, thank God that it's over songs, or like here's some banger ones that would be want to be listening to. And like that sort of thing is what the show is based upon. Or for like, oh, I'm gonna be talking about movies. I would have to be, because my show was like a variety, and I wasn't like a specialty show, which I can get into the specifics about. I had to play stuff on the top 40, so I had to get very creative with what I was playing. So the way that I was doing it, I don't think I technically had to do it this way, but I had to play 3 or 4 top 40, top 20, I can't remember exactly, songs from these select albums that were on like our top 20 list, like all the time. So I would be doing basically 4 songs each 30-minute block. So I'd be doing 12 songs in total. So it must have been 40, because that would make sense. So I would be playing like one that's not on it, and then another one. Or if I was like short on time, just the one from the top 40, depending on what. But there were certain blocks where like half-hour blocks that I would only do 3, or I would go over because I talk too much. But yeah, and that's how the show typically ran. That's how it went. It was. I still have the recordings of it, but I'm going to release those edited, because yeah. Obviously for copyright reasons I cannot play those songs, but I feel like if and when I do release the ones, I plan to do it on the 5th anniversary of the show, which is about like 2-3 years away. I can't remember. But when it's like 2024, so about 2 years away. When I do that, I'm gonna have like, show rundowns, like go through each and every single one of them and show rundowns. I'm going to try to redact names and stuff like that, if possible. Probably not. But yeah, that one is going to be a lot more edited when I get to it. But I also did another radio show, but I don't want to get into that right now. But yeah. But Midnight Ramen as a show was kind of, when I was doing it back in college, like I spent a lot of time prepping the show, because like even for literally making this show, I spent like an hour making sure my stuff was ready to go. And a lot of the times something wasn't ready. I almost didn't press record. And even like some stuff here and there, I can get better, and I can only go up from here. That's what I can say. Like I can improve my mic, I can improve my camera. There's only so much I could do, and hey, you don't have to be physically watching this. You can be listening to it in the background, and I encourage that. If you want to be watching this streaming, you can catch it at Melted Lyric Original, or whatever I might have changed it to. You can find me on Twitch, or whatever streaming service, or whatever it's on, as it's recording. You'll find it. But yeah, the video of the recordings are gonna be coming out afterwards, because then, for like, hypothetically speaking, knock on wood, if it was, say, sponsored or stuff like that, I would definitely be doing those segments in between where it should be, and cutting in and out for that. But when it does happen, or if it just like naturally does it, I don't know. Some services do that, some services don't. I don't know. It's very, very lofty thinking, but hey, you never know. And if you're, on the ground floor for that, good for you. And how this recording and stream is compared to another one of my streams. One, it's recorded. Two, I mean, I can obviously change it now, but like chat is not here. I mean, I'll get like alert stuff right about here if like, someone raids, or someone don't like drops a sub, that kind of crap. But like, I'm not gonna get into that. How, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But hey, what can you do? And Midnight Ramen isn't restricted to just being an hour long show. It can be an hour and a half. It can be two. When I was doing the radio show, I would usually be going about 1:30, and I would be doing like a sign off stuff, and I'd also have to be doing like the station stuff. So like, oh, you're listening to the blah 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 blah. If you want to contact us, and here's some new stuff that's happening. Here's the weather. I basically I did that for every block, and I really shouldn't have. Actually, every 15-minute block. Gosh. Ugh. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it. I mean, that's the basic structure of the show. I mean, if I want to say add chat later on, and like this is kind of like a test pilot. Like this is a pilot. This is a new beginning. But yeah, it's just to see how it works, and if it works out right, and I'm able to figure this out, I'll keep continuing doing this. And yeah, and that's. I don't really have that big intentions, but if it gets somewhere, it gets somewhere. And also, it's not restricted to certain days. As of right now, probably it's going to be, because my schedule is kind of screwy. I plan to do it on Thursday nights, or, well, morning. Yeah, morning. That's the thing I don't get. Okay, that's the thing that I don't get about like midnight stuff. Even when I did the radio show, I don't know to classify it as whether it's technically morning or night, because it's midnight, but technically because it's AM, it would be the morning. I don't know. I never thought about it, so like I mean, it's definitely thinking too hard. It's definitely thinking too hard. But yeah. It's like well overthinking it. And it's a lot. It's a lot to think about. But yeah, it's so weird to actually be doing this on camera. Oh, I think that's the element I got to get used to, is like I actually have to stare into the camera or look at the camera. Oh yeah, and that's another thing I thought about, like guests and stuff like that. I'll definitely probably have people on in the future. This one I wanted to do solo because yes, and there are definitely specific things you can do in chat. I am reading it. Don't get me wrong, although chat's not on screen anywhere right now. It might be later, I don't know. There are things you can do with your bits or whatever that you can have me do to mix up the stream. For instance, let me look at one of them. Obviously, there's a basic hydrate. You can make me hydrate. I will literally drink water or anything, like right now. For those that are actually watching it, that are actually watching stream, you can see this, but yeah. If you're not, I don't know. I have done, yeah, I've and like I'm trying to get some lighting stuff to work in here too, because like I can tell like this is not something I really want, and that I think is like, I think that's a little bit of like with the camera thing, and I tried sorting that out earlier. I just feel like mood lighting it's like dark in the room, so like I kind of want to just have a dark room to do it in, to do the show in, because it fits the vibe, and I like it a lot. Uh, yeah. But going back to like the camera thing, like even when I was doing the radio show, like there were cameras on me, so technically anyone that was watching like the live feed of like the live feed of, I guess, the station, or not really a station, of the broadcast room, you could see like me doing stuff or looking stuff up. You know, sometimes I'd be dancing up in the middle of a song, for sure, and it was it was very interesting. It's very weird because I'd be like, you know, just minding my own business, and then look straight into a camera, and I'm just like, nobody's doing that. Nobody's watching it. The only one that would be really watching it is security, but even then, like, I don't think they have access to this camera. Although I think they did. I don't know. Because, like, there were a couple of cameras that were, like, in the studio, but there's, like, one outside that could look into it, which I think was security's, but I don't know. I know there was one that was, but it's hard to remember. It's really hard to remember. And talking about the radio show, like I will say that a lot, because like I'm just giving a structure and like backstory as to why I'm doing this as a live cast, and I really wanted to do it this way because, or I wanted to do this again because like I love doing it. I love just talking. I love just talking about my life and stuff that's going on, just hanging out with people, you know, just getting stuff off my chest, yeah, stuff like that. Just having a chill vibe to, you know, end the night and then go to bed, wake up. That's kind of the vibe of it. It's just kind of mellow, kind of relaxed. I mean, we could get rowdy, but hey, it's just the end of the night, just chilling. And that was kind of the essence of the show itself, is that although I may have been like some nights I was just like on rails, just trying to like scramble to get shit going. There was a lot of nights that I was like, hey guys, let's just get it done. I didn't plan for any of this, but I just banged it out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to think of like, there was like a couple nights. There's a couple nights that were really, really pivotal. And one night I'll be specific about. One night was on the celebration of Prince's death. That one was actually I think I made that a specialty show. So what a specialty show is, and so this is something I was talking about earlier. A specialty show, you have to get that approved by the station manager, because like, you know, otherwise you have to be playing a top 40 song every block, every 15-minute block, or that's how I thought of it. You have to be playing 3 or 4 of the top 40 every hour, and you can't deviate from that. I mean, I feel, at least that's the understanding that I got. I know there were definitely people that may have taken it loosely, a lot looser than I did, but I was very strict to like every 15-minute block I would be doing, you know, doing a little talking section, music, you know, basic news rundown, weather, that kind of stuff, and that's how we just do and repeat it. But what a specialty show is in comparison, you have to get that approved by like the station manager, or someone that can do that. So they know, or like, because the station itself does get sponsored by record labels, so that way we can play music, and like, I don't know if really it turns a profit, but so that way we have a way of actually playing music without getting our asses handed to by US copyright law, because that's a thing. So it's just basically making sure that it checks off, making sure all that, you know, works, because if we don't do that, we don't get the funding and the station shuts down. So yeah, and we don't get record and we don't get any more CDs. And I have reviewed a lot of CDs in that time, but a specialty show is like you're not restricted to the top 40 stuff. So what I did the night, like the anniversary of Prince's death, which is like one of the later episodes that I did, I planned it out like a long time in advance. A long time in advance. I didn't really have a full structure until like 2 days before. I'm like, here's what I'm going to be playing. And I knew what I was going to be. I kind of knew what I was going to be talking about. I didn't have like, full structure and whole talking points to it, because like when doing those shows, I just never, like, if something came to mind, I just talked about it. But like I try to keep it on topic within those reasons or within those boundaries. So like if I was talking about tennis and I was talking about the Williams sisters, or like I would go into that, or it's like, oh, King Richard, that movie was really good. So I'm like, you can talk, like I could talk about that because it's related to tennis, but not, oh, let's talk about how right around that time that King Richard was, out or whatever, going into award season, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, something like that. And that really that just dated this podcast. It's been months since that happened. Months. Literal months. My God. But no, like I had those topics down, but for this specific show, when I was talking exclusively about Prince, near the middle to end of it, I was talking about like the day that he died, and just to like cliff notes of what I was talking about. I was basically in like my economics class, which is like a history class technically in my school, and that day we just came in the hour that he was like, the news was like getting the story, and we just watched as someone's like fell over in Paisley Park. Someone died in Paisley Park. Prince might be dead in Paisley Park. Prince died in Paisley Park. But the key point in what happened in that day is that Prince died in an elevator. Prince died in an elevator. And guess what song I played after it? Let's Go Crazy. Which, to begin the song, wait, it's like, am I thinking that right? Hold on. Let me look. Hold on. I should make sure that I'm like not actually jinxing myself. Which, oh, my window capture's not on. Hello? Technical difficulties. What the heck is going on? Okay, there we go. There we go. I want to make sure. Okay, yeah, I'm not going. Okay, so since we have the lyrics up, so I can make my point even clearer. So, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to go through this thing we call life. So he, basically talks about the afterlife. And then going into the chorus, where is it? Are we gonna let the D elevator bring us down? Oh no, let's go. When I heard, I think it really got to me when I was talking about this, but when I hit that line, I'm like, I did not plan that. I literally did not plan that. It was crazy because like I might have had it in the back of my mind, maybe, but I literally did not think that when I was, planning out the show. I think that was probably one of the most like prolific moments that I had in the show when I was doing Midnight Ramen, is that whole block, and then afterwards was just like, it's like, I did not plan this, but how did it work out so well? it was kind of nuts. It was very nuts. Being in the state of like Minnesota, even for university, it was nuts. It was crazy when it happened. I'm like, but no, it like I had those kinds of moments before, but I think that one stands out the most because it's so dead on. Because like Prince died in an elevator, and the song literally has, "Are we gonna let the elevator take us down or bring us down?" I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about that. Anyhow, I and there are definitely moments that will work, but yeah, or that will apply. Uh, but yeah, I mean, there are a lot of stuff like even in chat that you can maybe do to mix up the stream. And yeah, I think this stream in particular is going to be more about how and why my thought process is with this show. As I'm like a good portion of the way in, which is bad. But I will say this. I'll say this at the end of the show, but I'll say this now. The theme song for the show is by Gradients. The band Gradients. They're a couple guys that I know from college. They're really good dudes. I did pay them for this song, so I could use it. I mean, I gave them a down payment stuff, and we'll go from there. Man, if it gets off, we'll go from there. I did pay them for their work and stuff like that, so I'm not just doing it as a favor and exposure. But you can find them at Gradients Band on social media like Facebook and Instagram, or you can find their music on like things like Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, maybe Bandcamp. I don't know. And YouTube as well. I know they have their stuff on YouTube as well. You can watch them in some of their live concerts and stuff like that. I know they do have a couple of live recordings that they did post on, like, I think they did some Facebook or YouTube stuff. But yeah, they're really good dudes. I knew them from college. But yeah, but the song that I used for that is called "Used to It." It is technically the last track on the album, the seventh track on the album. And I just liked it. I just like it. I like the vibe, and they're good dudes. They're good dudes, and I want to support my boys. And that's what I call them every time. I call them the boys. Like even before, like I had the thought to like use their music. I'm just like, hey, when can I come up and see the boys? Like I gotta see the boys. The boys in the band. I gotta see them. But yeah, they came down the past weekend, played at one of their bandmates' houses, and that was fun. And then afterwards, I like had food and stuff, and yeah, but I made sure that was the point that I paid them, because like you gotta pay your artists. I mean, when you can and you have the money, please pay your artists. If you know who they are, please pay them. Because, duh. I mean, you're not just living on exposure. Exposure doesn't feed you. Some cases, maybe, maybe not, but, you know, typically not. Typically not. And I think the big thing that doing the radio show really worked on like my ums and ahs. I mean, there's obvious tics and stuff like that you need to work out, and definitely getting used to doing it. A lot of those faded away, but it took a while to get into that. And I still have like, I'm just trying to think of ones that I would do. I think even just do. I'm trying to think is a thing that I said a lot. And doing those sorts of things, you get used to it, you don't. You get into that pattern. Especially doing it solo, it's hard. It's really, 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 really hard. And yeah. And I think also, I did it again. I said, and I think it's stuff like that. Stuff like that. And getting used to that sort of thing and being conscious and aware of that sort of, oh, am I doing this? I need to stop doing this, or else if you become a pattern, it'll just basically become muscle memory, and you kind of don't want that, especially for ums and ahs and long pauses. And I obviously there's a time and place for like ums and ahs and long pauses, but when you're doing it so frequently, it's I mean, as much as it's a conversational podcast, it just kind of breaks up the flow, you know? Or like stuttering. Stuttering's a big one too. Stuttering is major. There are definitely times when I was doing the radio show that I flubbed up like just stupid words. Just like stupid words. Or repeat myself. Like I kind of just did, but not in that manner because like I'm emphasizing it, but saying it in a way that it's like, so then I was, when I was, like that, basically like that, and getting over that was kind of interesting, and that was a learning process of having to get over that and being conscious and aware of that, and just, the big thing was just doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and doing that show at midnight didn't also help because I was like, I mean, I couldn't be drunk, obviously, but like I was like some nights I was like faded, like I was just like kind of half asleep, and other nights I was definitely like bouncing off the walls with energy, and other nights were just like, I got the right thing, I'm doing it well, and I'm good, and it just depended on the day. Like anything else. I'm just trying to think of. I did it again. And if you're wondering, okay, one thing about the set that I never explained, and it's in my previous like live streams. Whenever you see this F, there's a reason for this F, and I had this for a very long time. It probably should be thrown away. I'm not going to throw it away because it's a huge F. It's a giant F. Like the press F to pay respect sort of thing. That's really why I had it. So the story behind that is that one night there was, I got like called in to do like videography work for like an award it wasn't an award show, it was like what was it? I'm trying to think of what it was. It was like a motivational speaker night, kind of. Not really, but is, but also isn't, but is, but also isn't. Basically, more or less, it was a lot of students doing it, or like leadership roles in that position. Just like saying, hey, here's what you need to do stuff better. And sometimes they brought like grad students or like people that just graduated, and here's what you need to do in life, blah, 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 blah. And I think, I'm trying to remember what it was called, or like the theme was like Forge, because like my university used a lot of fire symbolism, because our mascot is a dragon, for God's sakes. So fire is a huge thing. So Forge, I think Forge was the theme, because you're forging iron or forging yourself to be better. But when they were striking it down, they're like, oh, we're just gonna throw these letters away. I'm like, Can I have that? And the person running the event, well, she was like one of the activity directors. She was like, "You want that? Why?" And I was like, "I want that F. I want that F. Why?" Ugh. I want that. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I just want it because it's funny. Like, press F. Press F to pay respects. I'm gonna fix it. And it's leaning forward. That's better. That's better. It fell down. I'm not pressing F. uh, yeah, I mean, that's a big. It was a big thing. But I think also for that one, when I worked it, I don't think I asked because I just kind of just did it because like it was something to do. But I think the guy that like brought me in to run the show gave me like a bunch of coupons and to like food places like around the area that he just had lying around from previous events or whatnot. And I'm like, sure, I'll take it. I definitely got my money. I'm pretty sure I got my money's worth out of them, but I think I still do have like one or two of them, or I might have thrown them away when I moved. But I still probably like before then I still probably had like a lot, like quite a few of them that I think maybe would have expired if I would have like used them up or tried to use them. But yeah, I just had them because they were funny. But he paid me in food, so like, hey, food is good. I like food. As skinny as I am, I like food. Cannot lie, I really do. I really do like food. Who doesn't? But yeah, that is the story about the big F. That's the story about the F in this setup. And I don't think I've ever talked about it in any of my other streams because I don't know. I just never did. It never came to mind and no one asked. Nobody asked. Guess who asked? Nobody. Oh, so that's why nobody asked. Cuz nobody cared. Press F. Drink to that though. Ah. And for those that are listening to this in an audio medium, I am drinking a Dr. Pepper Cherry. That is an unsponsored sponsor. Actually, unsponsored sponsor was a bit in Midnight Ramen, the radio show, that I did occasionally. I didn't do it always, but I did it on occasion. I think especially in the beginning, I did do it a lot. But I think, yeah, I'll label the camera Dr. Pepper Cherry, really good. I think I'm just trying. I think Dr. Pepper and cream soda. That is a dangerous combo. It's too good. It's too good. I shit you not. It's too good. If you do Dr. Pepper like cherry and vanilla, so cream and cherry. That's it's too good. It's too good. Doing the repeating thing. But that's for emphasis. Totally for emphasis because I kid you not. Dr. Pepper cherry and vanilla from like if you get it from like a Coke Freestyle machine or Pepsi Freestyle, I don't know who they're technically. I think they're technically owned by Pepsi, but like I think I got it out of a Coke machine when I work because I used to work at my university's like event center. This was unrelated, but it took place in the building. But I used to work at the event, like the campus event center, I mean, it's also like where students, it's our memorial union. So basically where students, came to study, have events, uh, basically that sort of thing. That's kind of what happened. Have meetings for their clubs if they wanted to gather, just study. That's basically where I worked. Play games, things like that. That's where I worked. And downstairs there's this like restaurant, on campus restaurant, that I would sometimes go to. But what I would always do, I had a cup. And this was pre-COVID times, but maybe a little bit post-COVID, or like during COVID times. But pre-COVID times, I always had one of their cups, like hidden on my cart. Like either I would get one at the beginning when I got food, or I would have one already in the office. So whenever I went down for something, or down in that area, and I'm like, hey, I need to refill this, I did it. And that was the drink of choice that most of the time I always did that, because holy crap, Dr. Pepper Cherry Vanilla is super smooth. It's rich, it's super smooth, it's refreshing, I guess. I don't usually get it with ice, but it's, the flavor is just so good, and it goes good with a lot of food. I will say that. I'm definitely getting off topic from the original one, but it does work. But no, unsponsored sponsor of like a Dr. Pepper. Oh, Dr. Pepper's awesome. I also like Mountain Dew, which is a good thing because I will self-promote myself. In a couple weeks, I am going to be, and that's unrelated to the podcast, but I am streaming my Decision 2022. Wait, 2022. Oh my gosh. I almost forgot what year it was. So I already did one last year, which I have the footage of, but I never edited it. And I probably won't. And I probably won't edit. I need to get on my ass to do it. It's been an issue. It's been a long time. I've already got out of the place that I recorded it, so it's hella dated. But that's besides the point. That is besides the point. But the main thing about that one is like me and my buddy. Actually, he's a streaming guy. So my streaming friend Outsider. We both ranked a shit ton of Mountain Dew. Like I got a lot of them. We did like a couple standards. We did like Mountain Dew basic, generic, in can, bottle, fountain. I don't know if we did 2 liter. We should have did 2 liter because like I feel like Mountain Dew in a 2 liter is just the worst. Cause it just feels flat. I could be wrong. I don't know. I just have like I feel like whenever like 2 liter Pepsi, ooh, good. 2 liter Mountain Dew, I always get like stomach cramps whenever I have it. And it's like I could drink the same amount of Mountain Dew, like in a can or a bottle or whatever, perfectly fine. But when I have like a 2 liter, like Mountain Dew from a 2 liter, it just doesn't sit right. It never does. And I have no idea why. But in a couple of weeks, as of the recording of this of this live cast, I'm going to be doing this year's Mountain Dew Decision stuff. So in the one that I did last year, we did like the generic stuff, and then we did like the Halloween flavor. Like we did some of the like exclusive flavors, the seasonal ones that I had. Location, like a lot of them got like the Baja Blast of that year and the other 2 other ones, and I have the ones for this year. Like the store exclusive ones that you can only get at certain stores like KFC or a Dollar General. Like ones like those I could get. Some of them I didn't get. Like the Applebee's one. Applebee's literally, I think Applebee's started rolling that out right around the time that I did it, so I couldn't get it. Uh, but also I know Buffalo Wild Wings B-Dubs uh, put one out like a couple months after Applebee's did in like February or March. I could look it up, but I don't really want to right now. Uh, but yeah, I wasn't able to get the Applebee's flavor and the B-Dubs flavor. Uh, I think the Applebee's like berry bash or something like that, and the B-Dubs is like legend or legendary or something like that. Uh, Relatively speaking, they're both like kind of darker ones. Like I know the Legends is like pitch black. Like it makes pitch black Mountain Dew look purple. Like and yeah, but like I do have like a lot of the ones that came out this year, like uh another store exclusive, uh the Circle K in my region holiday flavor. What was it? I have it right here. The Purple Thunder, and this is the one I did in the review. Uh, the exact bottle that I did in my review. Uh, I have that. I have the one for Casey's. That one is like. Do I have that around? I know I have it. I don't remember what it's called, but I have that one. Overdrive. That's what it is. The one that's at Casey's is Overdrive. Uh, and I'm in an area where like getting exclusive flavor Mountain Dews is like big because I think Minnesota is like one of the top states. Let's look this up actually. Let's look this up. Uh, uh, U.S. state, Mount. By state. There we go. Map shows early stat post. Kentucky leads. Because like I market share PepsiCo. There's got to be okay because I feel like I know exactly which. I heard somewhere that like Minnesota's a very good place. For Mountain Dew. Uh, I don't know why. I mean, a lot of gamers, a lot of hunters. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but I also don't want to check it. I also don't want to check it. Maybe. Maybe this might have it. I also don't want to scroll through all. Oh, I could just do that. Let's see if it shows up. Maryland, Michigan, Orange. Oh, it's one of those sites, so no. I don't remember. So I don't know where I heard it, but I felt like I heard it somewhere. But no. It was just like when I heard the news that like Minnesota and that was getting like or like there were like flavor exclusive ones coming out this year, and I'm like I'm in the perfect zone for like store exclusive ones because I got a Quick Trip that has one. I think a Quick Trip, uh, Holiday, which is like Circle K, or they're owned by Circle K. They have one Purple Thunder. Uh, Casey's has one, like three in a small town at store exclusive ones. And obviously you can go to like Taco Bell, get a Baja Blast. So yeah. But the Brisk Dragonfly, which came out this year, is actually pretty dang good too. I will say that. Uh, I am definitely a soda connoisseur when it comes to that. And that one is pretty good. That one is very good. I will say that. Like compared to like some of the other stuff that they have, it's up there. I hope it stays because the dragon fruit one is pretty dang good. And it should I think it should stay like an exclusive like Baja Blast, but you know, we'll see. I mean, it's owned by the same company. I would hope. But I'm sure they could play like the other ones. I mean, there's obviously the Baja Blast round this year, which actually, if I remember right, this year was very. The flavors last year, the secondary flavors were a lot. I feel like were a lot stronger than this year's. However, they're basically the same. They're kind of the same, but also different. I think the mango one, which I do have a can of right on my desk because like they're still like there's I saw some stores like still selling it. So I whatever. I bought some and I bought one of gold. I can't find one of just straight Baja Blast because like people just took that one up fast. And Baja Blast, the Baja Blast batch this year from this particular, you know, outing outside of Taco Bell was really good. It was basically like you could blindfold me, like tell me, like pour it in a cup, tell me which one's which, tell me like that one is that one or whatever. I could not tell you that it was the same or that it was different. It was that good. Or is that similar, I should say. It was that good. Like last year, it was just like, like having it a couple times, it was still like, but this year it was like, yeah, this like bottle, can, whatever you got it in, it tasted exactly the same, and that's how you do it. And the secondary flavors, the mango gem, I think that one is a lot more superior than the gold, which was a pineapple, which I just feel like is an inferior version of the Maui Burst, which you can get at Dollar General. But those rankings aren't gonna, whatever I did for the reviews on that one, I'm gonna basically etch a sketch, more or less. I mean, they're gonna count. They're still valid in their own rights. But for the decision that I'm doing in a couple of weeks as a stream, it won't count as of recording this podcast. And I probably will save the VOD of that video and all that stuff. But yeah, I won't do a whole lot. And I do hear a guest. Let me get him. Hold on. Let me get this guy. Hold on. Hi. Hi, dum-dum. So here's Bacon. He was clawing at my door. I could hear it. He kind of wants down. Aw. Say hi. Say hi, Bacon. Okay, I'll let you down. Probably let him out. He'll probably want out, so, and I also want to kind of keep it quiet, so. Come on, sir. Yeah, he just wanted to say hi. But yeah, so Bacon. I can get into Bacon about it a bit, but let me finish up what I was saying about like this Mountain Dew thing, because like it's basically going to be ranking the flavors again. I'm not going to be doing all of them because last year after drinking all of that Mountain Dew, I was basically up until like 3 a.m. and I was up early that day and like running around and getting Mountain Dews from like a lot of stores. Like one like which I didn't know in the area. Like I was in the Fargo Moorhead area and I didn't even know that there was a which in the area. I just knew that there was. I'm like, I went a lot of places to get like a lot of those Mountain Dews. It was crazy. I didn't get the one from Applebee's, which it was very early on, so I didn't expect to get it. But I was kind of disappointed that I didn't. But what could I do? And I still hear him. So talking about Bacon. So Bacon, he's my cat, and I post. I'll talk about him a lot because he's a goober. He'll be on here a lot. he is actually the Bits and whatever, Bacon Bits. That's his actual full name. That is the channel points on the stream that you can use to actually make me do stuff. Not to like say anything, but yeah. But Bacon, he's a good cat. I love him. He's my baby boy. He's my baby boy. I will go to bat if someone tries to mess with Bacon. I will kill them. I will kill them. Yeah, Bacon. He's very nice. He's also a jackass. Like he does not cover his poop. Holy shit! Like I was living in the basement level of an apartment building, and there was kind of low ceilings. So whenever he crapped, you could smell it almost instantly. You could tell that he used his litter box. It was bad. And then even when I got out of that one, and then which is the one, especially my early streaming days, where I can hear that little bastard. I want to get him. So but like when I was doing it, it was a lot. He like that's I think my main gripe, and also like he does try to scratch like door stuff on occasion. He doesn't do it a whole lot, but only when either when he wants attention or he's just being a dick. And I think right now he wants attention, even though he's basically gonna just run off. He's a good cat. He's huge. Obviously he's on diet food. I will say that. I wouldn't say that he's like fat, like obese fat, but he's definitely chunky. He's definitely chunky. And I think it also might be part of his breed too. I'm not sure. And I could tell he really wants back in. I'm not gonna let him in. I'm not gonna let him in until after I'm done. And I am getting close to the end, so we'll keep this I'll keep this one kind of near time. But yeah. He's a good cat. I've had him for about 3 years. Yeah, since like 2019. So around the same, actually, I think before the radio show was even a thing. Huh. That's weird to think about. I think it was before even Midnight Ramen was like as a radio show even a thing. That's interesting. That's interesting to think about, because like I never thought about it that way. That I mean he's older than that, obviously, but still. And when we first got him, he definitely gained weight. He's definitely gained weight from when I first got him, but he was also very young, so like 2. He's like 5, 6. So it's like, and he's in this middle. Like he's a good cat. He's not great in the car, but he's okay once you get going for a while. Like after like an hour and a half, depending on how far the drive is or whatever. He really does relax a lot. And like and basically he just sits in the passenger seat and just chills, or like he moves around from time to time. He gets anxious or whatever. He's just like, I want to walk around, and he's good with that. He doesn't like the cage. He hates that thing. If he goes in the cage, like he can figure out how to get out of that thing. I swear he can figure it out, and it's scary. But no, he's a good cat. He's a very good cat. I'll be talking about him a lot, but yeah. In the car, he's bad for a little bit, and I basically had to have the car ready for him, so that he's like, or in a way, so that he's able to do his shit. Like, I have his litter box in there in case he has to poop, because there was an occasion where one time I didn't have it, you know, with his litter, and he crapped in my car. Luckily, it was close to the location I was going to, and although it did stink, I was able to clean it up and, you know, clean off the car or the upholstery and whatever, the seats, and it was all good. But yeah, I basically have to have my car ready or like bacon proof, which is weird. It's weird to think it that way. I have to have my car bacon proof. But yeah, I think I'll probably end the show here. But before I go, you've listened to this. Obviously, I'd like to give a couple thank yous. Thank you to you, the viewer or listener, and also, as I was said in the middle of the podcast, to Gradients for the use of their song "Used to It." Wait a minute, that sounds a little funky. I gotta workshop that. Use of their song "Used to It." That just sounds weird. But no, I'd like to thank Gradients for. Oh my god, that's not. I have to say it. I'm gonna say it that way. Refresh. So I'd like to thank the band Gradients for the use of their song "Used to It" off the album "The Call." It's a great track. It's their last official song on the album, although there's like 2 other tracks that literally come after it, and you can, whenever you're listening to the album, they come right after it. They're good. Both of those songs are good too. All of the album is pretty dang good, I have to say. They take a lot of inspiration from, I think, Wolf Mother, and they acknowledge that now. I haven't heard any of their stuff, but yeah. But no. Thank you to the Gradients band for the use of their song. I thank you, the viewer, again, or listener, for listening and or watching this. And till next time, it's always midnight somewhere. And until next time, I will see you later. Wait for it. Wait, where did I put my ad stuff? Oh, here it is. Until next time, I hope to see you, and bye-bye.
Different view. Oh, baby, now don't be scared, but don't get used to it. Yeah, when I told her I can't let go, when I told her I can't say no. Oh, baby, well, I was scared, but now I'm used to it. I was scared, but now I'm used to it.